Gil, so here's the question I had for you. I've been thinking about, I've got some thoughts on it, but I really want your expert kind of perspective. So if I'm thinking about this from a kind of a startup to a scale up, specifically B2B, but I think it could apply, think about it either way. Thinking about from the employee side, right? We talk about employee experience, employee engagement, and then one that I've been recently more focused on is employee buy-in as you're starting to grow. And I'm going to hit you with a loaded question, but as I'm a founder starting to think about it, do you have kind of a recommendation for founders to think about those three things? Is there a way to prioritize? Are they all tied together?
So they're all tied together. There's actually a flow that goes from there, which is it starts with the buy-in. Well, it actually even starts with before that of what there is to buy into. Every startup's going to be different. One, you might be buying into a vision. You might be buying into a charismatic founder. You might be buying into a mission that you're trying to accomplish to change the world, whatever it might be. There's something that could be bought into. And so the experience people have is their relationship with that whatever it is to buy into. And it's the responsibility of the founder to understand how to make the connection between the people, the work that people are doing, and that buy-in item. Whatever you're trying to connect people to, that's what's important for leaders to really make sure that their people understand what their role is in accomplishing the vision, in moving toward the mission, whatever it might be. That is where they should be thinking, because if somebody's bought into something, then they become more engaged. And ultimately, the reasons why organizations look for engagement is that it's connected to productivity and retention. So that's why you want an engaged workforce, because you want them productive and eager and excited and, doing the best work for you. And you want them sticking around. So whatever that you're excited about as the founder, what you really want to do is find people who are excited about the same thing, because then they'll be bought into what you're trying to accomplish. And that's how you then achieve your engagement with them. That will then lead to their productivity, sticking around and doing great work for you, and helping you then achieve that mission or vision or whatever it is you're trying to move to.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I was talking a little bit with you offline that, coming from the corporate world now feels like a long time ago, right? It was everybody does their job. It's a good job. Everybody's fighting towards the end. But, in the last year, working with a lot of different founders and startups, to me, having that passion to solve the problem that you're solving, or maybe it's how you're solving the problem, is almost a critical component. And maybe not yet, but I think where the B2B transformation is coming, if you don't have an employee base that you still get people that'll come in and do the job, you pay them well, they'll do their 9 to 5. But if you can't get your employees excited about what you're doing, it's been really hard to get your customers excited about what you're doing, which in turn makes it even more difficult to kind of grow your business. And I think, one of the internal debates I had is, I think you can still perform with a quality product and, execution, but man, it seems like that the it factor may be, that the mission, and it doesn't have to be super complicated or I don't want to say super noble, right? Not everybody's going to save the world, but you've got to have folks aligned around what you're trying to do. Is that fair?
Absolutely. You can still be reasonably successful, but by connecting people with that buy-in, by giving them a line of sight between the work that they're doing and the ultimate goals of the organization, you're actually raising the ceiling of what you're able to accomplish. Because sure, you can accomplish one level by having no buy-in, by just, going in, getting the job done day after day. However, you'll get more work done. You'll get more accomplished. Each individual will get more accomplished if they're energized and engaged with what they're doing. So yeah, it's possible, but if you really want to make the most out of it, if you really want to raise that ceiling as high as possible, then you want to build that buy-in through the line of sight between what they're doing and the company achieving its goals.
Yeah, which I think is great advice for founders thinking about it. Because I've worked with some that, kind of stumbled upon a problem that they're trying to solve, but aren't super passionate about it. So again, it could be such a big market opportunity that they could do well. But man, I still like to bet on folks that have passion around that problem that they're solving and be intentional about it, right? I think that's the other thing I see is they don't have really a clear plan around the buy-in and through the experience. And as you're growing, everybody's going to be doing a lot of different jobs, understood. But I think back to that planning stage, employee planning, never a part of it. At least I haven't seen it until it's well down the road. And now you've read a Series A funding and you've got all this money come in, you're hiring hundreds of people. Now you're trying to figure out, wow, how do we get everybody aligned? And I think you started a business based on getting the employees engaged in the employee experience. So I don't want to paraphrase, but I'm assuming your advice would be to founder, make this a part of your plan as soon as possible, even if you only have a couple employees.
Absolutely. And make sure they're connected to what you care about. Whatever it is that's exciting you at the end of the day, make sure you have employees that are also excited about the same things. Whatever it is that you might be, because like you said, we don't all have this noble mission to change the world. Sometimes there's just a market opportunity, but there's something about it that excites you as a founder, that drove you in that direction. Find people who want to go in that direction and then help them connect with how they're moving you and the company in that direction.
Awesome. All right. I think we'll leave it at that. Thanks for jumping on for a minute, Gil. I appreciate it.
Happy to do it.
I'll be back in the future with you as I come up with other questions.
Sounds good. I was actually just reading up on this study that Adam Grant did in 2007, I think it was, with call center employees who were trying to collect money for scholarships. And what they found was that people who just had a 5-minute meeting by those who were impacted by the scholarship increased their performance significantly because it gave meaning behind the work that they were doing. And that's the ultimate key. So if you as a founder help give meaning behind the work that your employees are doing, that will help them buy into what you're doing and really be engaged in trying to achieve that goal.
I love that. And two, especially coming out of a call center environment, which is really hard to get folks, bought in and aligned around a mission. But I get it. It makes sense. You hear how it impacts somebody's life. All of a sudden you're like, all right, I'm doing something positive in this, in this world with what I'm doing with the job. So,
and then when you speak to that person individually and you find out the actual impact it had on their life, it motivates you that much further, and the gains are significant.
I love that. Yeah, and it can be simple, right? It doesn't have to be complicated.
Doesn't have to be
awesome.
complicated.
I'll have to look up that study. I think that's super interesting. All right, see you later, Gil.
Thanks, Brett.